This time I'd like to open the public hearing on Gateway Community Investment District Number 1, which encompasses all retailers on the site, including Walmart, and proposes a 0.5% CID sales tax and a $400,000 assessment. Collection of the CID sales tax will commence January 1st, 2015. Anyone with comments on the CID District Number 1 may now come to the podium and provide comments. Anyone with comments on CID Number 1 on the Gateway? Next, we'll have the public comment or public hearing on Gateway CID District Number 2, which includes all retailers on the site with the exception of Walmart, and proposes a 0.5% CID sales tax and a $400,000 assessment. The creation of this district brings the total CID sales tax for all retailers but Walmart to 1%, which is consistent with the terms of the approved redevelopment agreement that we passed last month. Collection of the CID sales tax shall commence on January 1st, 2015. Anyone with comments on the CID District Number 2, please come to the podium and express your opinion. Hearing no further comment, I close. Okay, next, can we go ahead and do Bruce Kimmel now? Would that be okay? Yes. Thank you. Bruce, could you come forward? Bruce represents Ellers. He's out of Minnesota and represents the city well in our financial interests, and he has some news for us tonight.
Good evening. Thank you so much, Mayor and Council, for taking me early on the agenda. I'll be driving a little bit north of here to avoid this storm, but I have some results to report to you on in terms of the RFP that the city issued for investment banking services relating to the Gateway project. We put out the RFP roughly, I guess, 2.5, 3 weeks ago. We had a total of 4 firms respond to the RFP expressing interest in underwriting bonds for the Gateway. Those were a firm called Doherty & Company out of Minneapolis, Stern Brothers, which is here in Kansas City, Stifel Nicolaus out of St. Louis, and UMB Bank here in Kansas City. A group of us interviewed all 4 firms today here at City Hall, and as a result of those interviews, we all actually reached a pretty fast consensus in recommending Stifel Nicolaus to you for underwriting the Gateway bonds that would be negotiated direct to the market. At this point, we're contemplating that those would be the special obligation property TIF bonds, but Stifel did show some interest in discussing with us the possibility of also doing some reorganization of some of the bonds to reduce the GO bond exposure. And so we feel very confident working with them going forward and exploring those options. A couple of things I just wanted to point out about the Stifel proposal and the sense that all of us got on the selection committee. Overall, they just really demonstrated the strongest capabilities and capacity to do this financing and complete it well on for the city. They have the strongest financial capacity as well as professional. They had the longest track record of doing similar TIF financings here in Kansas as well as in Missouri and other states, and have the distribution capacity both to institutional investors like mutual funds and insurance companies, as well as to retail investors. You may see some of the Stifel offices around town, and that gives them the capacity to reach out to all sorts of Kansas investors that might be interested in these bond issues. Also, it was pretty clear from their proposal that they had given a lot of thought to what the market would require in terms of the bond issues, and more so than some of the other proposals. And so I guess I would just say overall that they presented the strongest package to us, both in their written response as well as in the interview. And all of us came away with the sense that they had the best chances of delivering the strongest possible TIF financing for the city.
Question, Bruce, just for my knowledge,
Yes.
who was us? Who did they?
I'm sorry, I should have said, Councilmember Quinn, there were 4 of us, Laura Smith, Pete Heaven, Cord Maxwell representing the Gateway developers, and myself. Yep. Thank you.
Excellent. Any other comments? Do I hear a motion to accept the
Madam
investment
President,
banking?
I would move the City Council approve Stifel Nicolaus to provide investment banking services for the Gateway project.
Is there a second?
I'll say.
Martha?
Shepherd,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Gibbs,
Aye.
Cowdery,
Aye.
Crane,
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bruce. Have a safe trip back.
Safe travels.
Safe trip, yeah.
Finance and Administration, Dave Shepard.
Thank you, Madam President. I have 4 items on the agenda tonight. I think for most folks in the audience, item 6D, the reimbursement resolution regarding outdoor pool, will be the last one that I tackle. Item 6A is an ordinance establishing Gateway CID number 1. The background is the city received 2 new CID petitions from the Gateway developers intended to accurately reflect the terms of the redevelopment agreement approved by the council on January 16th. The 2 new petitions include the sales tax rates that were approved as part of the Gateway redevelopment agreement. The first of the 2 CID ordinances to be approved is for Gateway CID number 1, which encompasses all retailers on the site, including Walmart, and proposes a 0.5% CID sales tax and a $400,000 assessment. Collection of the CID sales tax will commence January 1st, 2015. Madam President, I move the City Council approve an ordinance authorizing the creation of the Mission Gateway Community Improvement District Number 1 in the city of Mission, Kansas, authorizing the making of certain project improvements relating thereto, approving the estimated cost of such project improvements, levying a 0.5% CID sales tax, providing for special assessments, and providing for the method of financing the same, including the issuance of special obligation bonds and full faith and credit bonds.
Is there a second?
Second.
Martha, please call. Sorry, do you have comments or comments? Okay. You're right, thank you. Good protocol reminder. Does anybody have any comments or questions or clarification? Hearing none, Martha, please call the question.
Quinn.
Aye.
Crane.
Aye.
Cowdery.
Aye.
Gibbs.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Shepherd.
Aye. Item 6B is an ordinance establishing Gateway CID number 2. This is the second Gateway CID ordinance to be approved and is for Gateway CID number 2, which includes all retailers on the site with the exception of Walmart, and proposes a 0.5% CID sales tax and a $400,000 assessment. The creation of this district brings the total CID sales tax for all retailers but Walmart to 1%, which is consistent with the terms of the approved redevelopment agreement. Collection of the CID sales tax shall commence on January 1st, 2015. Madam President, I move the City Council approve an ordinance authorizing the creation of the Mission Gateway Community Improvement District Number 2 in the city of Mission, Kansas, authorizing the making of certain project improvements relating thereto, approving the estimated costs of such project improvements, levying a 0.5% CID sales tax, providing for special assessments, and providing for the method of financing the same, including the issuance of special obligation bonds and full faith and credit bonds.
Is there a second?
Second.
Questions, comments, clarification? Hearing none, Martha, please call the question.
Quinn.
Aye.
Crane.
Aye.
Cowdery.
Aye.
Gibbs.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Shepherd.
Aye. Item 6C is the IRB Resolution of Intent Gateway Project. Background is following approval of the Gateway redevelopment agreement. It is recommended by bond counsel that a resolution of intent for the IRBs contemplated in the agreement be passed. The IRBs and associated interests shall be special limited obligations of the city payable solely out of the amounts derived by the city under a lease agreement. The bonds are not general obligation and are not backed by the full faith and credit of the city. The city is not responsible for the repayment of these bonds, which are payable solely from the funds provided for in the indenture. This proposed resolution authorizes an issuance not to exceed $175 million. This proposed resolution also includes the recommended changes made by the Finance and Administration Committee last Wednesday. Madam President, I move the City Council approve a resolution determining the intent of the City of Mission, Kansas to issue its industrial revenue bonds in one or more series in the aggregate amount not to exceed $175 million to finance the cost of acquiring, constructing, and equipping multiple facilities for the benefit of the Gateway Developers, LLC, and its successors and assigns.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Martha, please call the question.
Shepherd.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Gibbs.
Aye.
Cowdery. Crane.
Aye.
Quinn.
Madam President, members of the City Council,
we're making progress. We're still working on our plans. We just went through a budget exercise that was a little arduous, but we're making good progress. I fully expect that we'll get underway May at the latest, and it may be April that we see some dirt moving. And we're very appreciative, as you know, of your efforts, your work, your making sure that the citizens of this community were protected, and also your cooperation with us.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Tom, if you would, what's the status on tenant leases right now?
Ms. Quinn, I don't have an update. I don't want to give updates until we've got another signed lease. We're still working on that one mid-size box or junior box that we need to get over the hump to be able to open the financing. I'm sure we're going to get there, and relatively soon. It's just, until I've got it done, I don't want to say who it is. Okay.
And we anticipate you'll probably be back in March at our council meeting, or April, to give us another update.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking if there was a specific, shoot. And this was the two best public hearings I've ever participated in. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom.
Thanks for the update.
Thanks, Tom. All right, item 6D is the reimbursement resolution for the outdoor pool. With the passage of the Parks and Recreation sales tax, the outdoor pool project is moving forward. We anticipate issuing bonds to finance the project later this year, but expect to incur expenses prior to the bond issuance for pre-construction costs such as design, testing, and preparation of construction documents that may be reimbursed once bonds are issued. Federal tax law only provides for a reimbursement window of 60 days prior to the date of issuance, and this resolution simply extends that reimbursement window. The maximum reimbursement amount in the resolution is $1 million, although the actual anticipated cost will be less. The proposed resolution includes the recommended changes from the Finance and Administration Committee that were spiritedly discussed last Wednesday. Madam President, I move the City Council approve a resolution of the City of Mission, Kansas, acknowledging the possibility of capital expenditures for the pool project and reimbursement of costs related thereto.
Is there a second?
Second.
Do we have discussion? Martha, please call the question.
Gibbs. Aye. Cowdery.
Aye.
Crane.
Aye.
Shepherd.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Well,
Very much.
that concludes my report.